It's the first thing I always looked at every morning when I've been around here. It always has a special, unique beauty that I see in it. It's never been the same twice, but yet it's always consistently there, and you know, always ready to cure your spirit and to look after your needs. Pretty special place. Well, all right. First, welcome to the bay here. This is McNabb's Bay, or the Malagash Basin. It's Canada's first oyster farm. Alrighty. What am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, I got myself another pair of gloves. They were right there. Thank you. The hand from behind the door. Huh. All right. Well, the family's grown up here on the shores of this bay for a lot of generations now. I needed something to relax. I always thought if you were going to relax, it'd be a good idea to make money while you were doing it. I started out with a license to recreationally fish oysters. Would have been probably early 90s, late 80s, because that was relaxing and I loved oysters. I've been doing it for a long while. Yeah. I don't know really of anyone else much longer at it than me. I don't think. I go out, or one of the boys or workers go out. We fuel up the harvester. Morgan, you want to fire her up? We harvest until we get either how much we need or how much we want for that particular day. That's all there is to it. Take it in and turn the girls loose on it. Find someone to buy it. So far, that's not a problem. Maybe I'll even do something. One of you guys want to explain out what you're doing here?
Well, I'm basically sizing the quahogs, sorting them out of the, they come in with the oysters and the quahogs are together, so I take them out and size them into small, medium, and large. And then we also have to clean the oysters. If there's any seed or a dead shell on them like that, that has to be cleaned off. And then we grade them and size them into many different sizes, small, medium, and large standard, and then 4 different sizes of choice.
And this is Rachel, it's going to be taking the business over. Oh, daughter number 2. My people came in here in 1783. And ever since, on the family farm, or in business, whatever they're in, there's always been 3 generations. And they always stood together. Depends on how big of boots we put on you. Some of the boots we put on you, they ought to float you. My greatest joy is when we're all together doing something. I don't know how much longer it can be continued because our world has switched so far away from that. But with us here yet, we've been able to continue that. And it's just a wonderful feeling just to have them there, and it's really great. I learned from them too.
Sometimes he's hard to keep in line. But that's just, I think that's a man thing. Well, we met through his cousin, who was one of my best friends in Oxford, and we just hit it off. When I retired from teaching at 55, then I was full-time doing with the oyster business. We helped out as best as we could when the time was necessary to do it.
Help yourselves.
I enjoy the freedom of having our own business and working with our daughter. It's very fulfilling feeling that she's going to be taking over and working with us. I really enjoy working with Rachel.
If I had my way, I would never charge for an oyster because in the native culture, food is something you share, and an oyster was something that was special in the culture and something to be shared at a party or a gathering or a get-together. But being practical, and thank goodness I have a wife that's a lot more practical than me and a daughter that's more practical than I am, they're able to do it in such a way that I make money and they can keep me going doing the silly things. But oysters are all about a good experience. If you take an oyster out, you open an oyster up, you share it with somebody, it's an experience and it's a sharing of something in common. Like, this is very old land, and everything leaches off the mountains and ends up out in these bays and the estuaries. Every oyster tastes different than every other oyster, and it has to do with the food that's in the bay and the salinity and all the other factors that always are different. That's basically the way our system works, just a steady harvesting and taking the seed, putting it back out. It's just in harmony with the bay.
I love looking at it every morning. I hope that the bay will always stay the way it is, and that our generations to come will still enjoy a life on the bay. As long as we still have people to live around it who are conscious of the beauty and the specialness of the bay, I don't worry about it.
We have things changing in the bay there that we can do nothing about, but my own part in it is to make sure that what I've done in the bay hasn't harmed it, that it's made it, if anything, better rather than worse. There's always something there that brings me close to nature. Something, it's very difficult for me to put into words. It's just a feeling, and it keeps me going. Normal tide is down there to where you can see the seaweed comes in, but you can see the last big storm surge we had. They came right in, right up to here, and it's really frightening, some of the things that are happening. You know, we've had a lot of erosion. I don't think really there's much we can do about it. I think we're going to have to adapt. I think mankind has really messed up his idea of stewardship over the environment. I think we really all, as a people of the world, need to look at what we're doing and make some drastic changes. People say, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. But if every one person does a little bit, it'll make a big change. The only thing I think I'd like to share is that if you have a dream, if there's something you want to do, don't be afraid to do it. Life is really short, and when we get through it. There's nothing wrong with saying I failed at something. But if you didn't try it,